We are diving into a really complex stack of sources today.
Yeah, it's quite a mix.
It really is. They pull together what feels like, well, the entire news cycle. Everything from those viral predictions on social media,
Yeah, those dates.
exactly, and official geopolitical warnings, comments, even that ongoing buzz around alien disclosure.
It's all in there.
But it's all viewed through this very specific lens of biblical prophecy and what seems really critical, this idea of readiness.
That's the core, isn't it? It's a fascinating synthesis. These sources, they basically argue that all these contemporary anxieties, they're not just random noise.
Right. They see them as prophetic signs.
So our mission here really is to analyze the framework this material is proposing.
Okay.
Specifically, how do these global events, these signs, shift the focus away from trying to win some kind of global prediction game?
Which seems impossible anyway.
Right, and towards ensuring personal preparation. That's the pivot.
Exactly. And, for listeners who followed the discourse around these sources, we've touched on some of this before.
We have.
Things like specific comments or even the whole red heifer narrative. Controversial stuff sometimes.
Sure, very specific markers.
But today, we're looking past those specific signs maybe and asking, okay, if these are the indicators, what's the action item? What are you supposed to do? Because the world seems, just obsessed with setting dates and making declarations.
That's the perfect place to start, actually, because the foundational error the source material really tackles head-on is that human impulse for certainty.
Like needing to know the date.
Exactly, and the repeated failure of trying to set prophetic dates.
Yeah, think about the massive hype we saw just recently. There was that specific Rapture prophecy date that went completely viral.
I remember that one.
It just spread like wildfire, didn't it, in corners of the internet. But then the day came, and
Yeah.
nothing. It passed.
As they tend to do.
And this whole date-setting thing, it feels cyclical. It happens every few years. Someone comes up with a new date.
Yeah.
So why do people consistently fall for it? Even when there seems to be this immediate, built-in counter-argument from the texts themselves.
Well, I think the human mind, it just desperately wants to control the timeline, doesn't it?
Yeah, wants to pin it down.
Wants the great unknown pinned neatly to a calendar page. But the source material, it immediately brings in that scriptural counterpoint. It's almost like the line was designed to preempt this exact human error.
You mean Matthew 24.36?
That's the one. No one knows the day or the hour. Explicit.
Okay, but wait. Doesn't that create a kind of tension in the source material itself?
How so?
Well, they tell us don't chase dates, the hour is unknown, yet they spend quite a bit of time listing specific signs, comments, geopolitical stuff, these viral predictions. So how do the sources square that tension between you need to recognize the signs and you absolutely cannot know the date?
Okay, yeah. That's where let's say, the power of their framework really lies.
Okay.
The sources suggest the purpose of the signs isn't to set the clock. It's not about giving you the date.
It's more like confirming the season.
Exactly. Confirming the proximity of the era. To say, look, you are living in the time of fulfillment. So when some prophecy hype doesn't materialize, when a date passes, it isn't evidence that prophecy itself is irrelevant. Actually, the sources argue it reinforces the ultimate mandate. Because the failure of a specific prediction just confirms the methodology. The timing is intentionally hidden.
Prevent complacency.
Precisely. You must be constantly ready. You can't just wait until the last minute because you'll never know when that is. So don't chase predictions. Be ready.
Okay, so the uncertainty of the global timeline actually serves a purpose.
Yeah.
It forces this personal immediacy. That's actually a brilliant way to reframe the whole timing issue.
It is. And it leads us right into this powerful analogy.
Connecting the unknown day to a specific tradition.
Yes, using an ancient idiom, really, to make the point crystal clear.
We're talking about the Feast of Trumpets here, Rosh Hashanah.
That's it. The sources, they spend some time detailing how the Feast of Trumpets, historically, began with the sighting of the new moon crescent.
Before standardized calendars, you mean?
Exactly. Before calculated calendars, the exact moment that sliver of moon would be visible, it was unpredictable. You couldn't pre-calculate it with absolute certainty back then.
So what did they do?
Well, they relied on witnesses. 2 reliable witnesses had to actually see the moon and then report back to the authorities in Jerusalem.
Okay.
So it was a festival heralded by this sudden, unpredictable blast of the shofar, the trumpet. And because of that uncertainty,
it became known as the festival.
of which no one knows the day or the hour, that very phrase.
Wow, okay. That historical challenge Needing physical confirmation, not being able to pre-calculate that, makes the analogy so much clearer.
Doesn't it? And the sources connect this idea, this unpredictable sudden start, announced by a trumpet blast, directly to that central passage on resurrection and the rapture.
1 Thessalonians.
1 Thessalonians 4, yeah, verses 16 and 17. It specifically mentions the trumpet of God.
Right.
So the analogy shifts the focus, doesn't it? Away from trying to set your calendar, which is impossible.
Towards just being ready for the sound.
Be prepared for the sound of the trumpet, which is certain eventually, but completely unscheduled. So the structure of this ancient festival explains why readiness should be, well, constant, a daily state of being.
Not a date-specific countdown based on watching the news.
Exactly. Not chasing every headline or comet sighting to try and pin down the date.
Okay, this historical context gives us a really unique way to think about the timing. But let's shift focus now from ancient calendars to, well, what the world is literally looking up at right now.
Yeah, the signs in the heavens.
The sources draw a direct line, don't they, between this current, almost global curiosity and specific prophetic warnings.
They do. This just overwhelming curiosity the world seems to have for cosmic unknowns. UFOs, specific comets or asteroids, the media attention on alien disclosure.
It's everywhere.
It is. And this suggests the world is sort of naturally inclined to look up for answers.
And the sources get very specific, too. They point to objects like
the comet.
Yeah, this non-periodic object, maybe interstellar, that's been visible, and it's approaching its closest point, I think, around that November timeline that keeps popping up in other anxieties, too.
That's right. It acts as a perfect focal point, doesn't it, for people who are looking for those big cosmic signs.
But here's where it gets interesting, the analysis part.
Yes. What's fascinating here is the sources acknowledge that Scripture does suggest there will be signs in the heavens. Luke 21 mentions it. But the key point they make is that this widespread curiosity, this looking up for external cosmic proof, it comes with a really critical warning.
Which is?
They draw it from 2 Corinthians 11.1. That's the passage reminding the reader that deception can come in many forms.
Even appearing as something amazing.
Even appearing as an angel of light, something wonderful or luminous. So the warning is about misinterpretation, about deception.
So the interpretation provided in the sources is quite powerful then. It's saying these cosmic signs, maybe even the whole alien disclosure narrative.
Yeah.
They might not be true to the timeline, but they could actually be potential paths of misdirection or even deception.
That's the caution they inject.
Yeah.
The call, therefore, isn't simply to look up at the spectacle or just track the cosmic signs.
It's to anchor that search.
Right. Anchor it to a specific, defined reference point.
Yeah.
The Son of Man. It's about where your focus ultimately lies.
So it directs the attention away from just the spectacle itself and back towards the preparedness of the person watching the spectacle.
That's the synthesis, exactly. Acknowledge the spectacle in the heavens, sure, but direct the primary attention inward toward readiness. And, you know, the focus isn't just up toward the stars.
No, it's also out to the geopolitical landscape.
Which feels incredibly volatile right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if the calendar is unreliable and the heavens are potentially deceptive, maybe the only signs left are the ones we see right here on the ground.
The wars and rumors of wars.
Which you could argue are fueling the most immediate visceral anxieties in the world right now.
I think that's fair to say. They outline this really concerning culmination of geopolitical tensions all over the globe.
And they mention specific things, don't they? Not just generalities.
Very specific. They highlight contemporary worries, including official NATO warnings about potential conflict escalations, again, linked sometimes to that November timeframe.
And ongoing stuff, too.
Oh, yes. Ongoing high-level tensions involving the Middle East, Iran. I mean, these aren't abstract threats.
No, you see them on the news every single day.
They're concrete, modern scenarios playing out constantly. Matthew 24.6, which speaks of hearing of wars and rumors of wars. The material basically uses this sustained global instability as evidence that the prophetic timetable is, let's say, active. It's ticking forward.
Right.
But the question we need to ask is, okay, if these events are meant to be a signpost, what's the purpose of the sign?
What's it for?
Exactly. And the core message is summarized really clearly. These prophecies, these signs, they are intended not to create panic.
Not to paralyze people with fear.
Right, but specifically to prepare them. The external signs, whether it's comets or conflicts, they seem to exist only to reinforce the urgency of internal readiness.
So the sign is the warning bell, not the deadline itself.
Perfectly put. It's the warning, not the deadline.
Okay, that completely reframes the whole purpose of prophecy, doesn't it? It's a tool for urgency, not a crystal ball for prediction.
That's the argument.
So if global prediction is fundamentally unreliable, the specific dates fail, the geopolitics are confusing, the heavens might even be deceptive.
Yeah.
Where does any certainty lie? The sources make this final pivot in the last segment, and it feels incredibly powerful.
This is the definitive shift in focus, I think. It moves entirely away from that uncertain, complex global timeline towards the absolute unavoidable individual timeline. The concept they introduce is the personal trumpet.
A personal trumpet. Wow. That phrase really captures it, doesn't it? The individual perspective.
It does.
It means, okay, even if the big, globally anticipated event is delayed by 100 years,
yeah,
every single one of us still has a definite impending endpoint, one that's totally non-negotiable.
Precisely. Even if the global clock keeps ticking for decades, maybe centuries, your time in this linear existence, it's fixed. There's an end date for you personally.
And the source backs this up scripturally.
Oh, yeah, with a very blunt statement from Hebrews 9:27. The universal deadline might seem flexible, or at least unknowable, but the individual deadline is non-negotiable. It's absolute.
Okay, that reframes everything, especially for the listener maybe feeling overwhelmed trying to track NATO warnings and comets and everything else.
Right.
Focusing on your own personal endpoint, it kind of simplifies that whole complex stack of external forecasts, doesn't it?
It brings it right down to the personal level, end of linear time for that person, the exact moment where eternity begins.
So it highlights the ultimate non-negotiable deadline for readiness, whatever that means for the individual: salvation, faith, holiness.
Exactly. And that deadline doesn't rely on you correctly interpreting viral social media posts or tracking comets.
It's certain.
It's certain. So the ultimate instruction for readiness moves away from being this complex global forecasting problem, which requires constant reading and speculation, an immediate personal matter of your own existence, one that is absolutely guaranteed to occur.
Wow. This has been a really fascinating synthesis, connecting these deep anxieties from current events, comets, wars with ancient idioms, and these theological directives about readiness.
It's quite a framework they've built.
Hmm.
They seem to lay out two distinct tracks of knowledge.
Okay, what are they?
First, you've got the global signs, the comet, the alien buzz, the wars and rumors of wars. These indicate the era is concluding, or at least changing significantly, but their specific timing is intentionally uncertain, hidden.
Right. Track 1, global signs, uncertain timing.
Track 2, the personal requirement for readiness. And this isn't dictated by those uncertain global signs, but by the absolute certainty of judgment that follows.
Certain, timing, personal focus.
Exactly.
So the ultimate advice distilled from all this material, it seems pretty clear and compelling. It moves from the philosophical right down to the actionable.
Yeah, the quote they use sums it up. Don't live chasing predictions. Be ready every day.
That really is the core takeaway, isn't it?
It seems to be. Be ready every day.
Okay.
And if we connect this to the broader picture of readiness, Luke 21:36.
And remind us.
It emphasizes the need to watch, therefore, and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape what's coming and to stand before the Son of Man.
Counted worthy.
Yeah, and that raises, I think, a final important question, something for you, the listener.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the real goal isn't to predict the exact hour of some global event, but rather to be found worthy at the precise hour of your own individual transition, your personal trumpet call.
Yeah.
How does shifting your focus like that away from global forecasting and tracking signs towards personal character and daily readiness, how does that fundamentally change the way you engage with the news, with current events, with your own life day to day?